Hey guys, and here I have a pretty cool video. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I had a little fun with the next generation Adidas X 16.1. And these are supposed to be releasing ahead of the Euros, so about in a month or so. This colorway in particular is supposed to release in July. I know that the Euro colorway is supposed to be a silver upper with the red sock liner. But anyway, you can see those on Instagram leaked, I believe. But yeah, so I had a little fun with these yesterday. I was able to pick them up early from a guy I know. And, I thought I would just do a video on what I think of them, mainly because the 15.1X I hated so much, and that would probably be on my top 5 worst releases of 2015 for boots. But I'm happy to say, while I wasn't completely in love with these new 16.1s, as I do think that there are better options out there right now, they are a huge improvement over the Adidas X 15.1 synthetic. I do have to add synthetic, yes, I will talk about later, but I did prefer the 15 plus prime knit in comparison to these, only because of the fit and feel. I wish I had a pair to compare, but I don't. But I will be comparing them to other boots as I move along. Unfortunately, I don't have any read-ups on any specs for the 16.1 generation, but I will do my best to just kind of talk through what I am feeling, what I am seeing, and what I felt on feet during my brief period of using them yesterday. So as you can see, they completely redid the aesthetics, and thank God they did, because the X15 was, those were, at least for me, some pretty ugly looking shoes. The graphics were terrible. Here they have a more low-key design. I mean, they have this big obnoxious Adidas logo, which is fine, I guess, better than that weird squiggly Adidas logo that they had on the 15s. But it's a lot more cleaner looking, a lot more sleeker looking, as you can see here. And so let me just start talking about the aesthetics for this particular colorway, which is, as I said, a July release. It is a red-orange colorway. It's like a half and half blend between red and orange. However, indoors they do appear, as you would expect, more red on the darker side of an orange, more red-like. And then in the bright sunlight, they come off as like this vibrant orange, very bright orange. And I did my best to capture that difference in color in different lighting conditions on Instagram. You can see that. I posted a few pictures. I think I'll get a few more up, just so everyone can see and get an idea of the color. But aesthetics, yeah, we got this silver Adidas logo, and that's really all you see in terms of Adidas branding on the entire shoe, apart from that. Yeah, that is really the only part. So aesthetics, we have the big silver chrome Adidas logo. Then we move on and we see these little indentations, little ridges in the upper, and I'm sure that's going to be some sort of friction performance enhancement for ball control. Obviously it doesn't do much at all. And in fact they're not very deep. It's just to provide some sort of friction for ball control, and I'm guessing in wet conditions, quote unquote, and dry conditions. But it does feel nice. Obviously it's nice to have, rather than, I know a lot of people prefer just a no nonsense smooth upper, but these are nice, offer something different in feel. Then we have this Tech Fit X logo. refers to the Tech Fit collar, which is really nice in this one. The whole construction is a lot better, and as you would have noticed, they have this no tongue design. I know on the 15X they had a tongue sort of, but it wasn't fully fused to the upper. But this one is fully fused to the upper. It's basically a one-piece design, as we've seen on the Superfly and Magistas, and the Pure Control for that matter. Obviously without the laces on the Pure Control, but yeah. When I first saw these, actually, if you're familiar with sneakers, I'm not much of a sneakerhead, but I do follow Yeezys, etc. And these, at first glance, looked like red Yeezys to me, with studs on the bottom, which I thought was funny, especially with this lacing system. But yeah, so we have this new Tech Fit collar, new one-piece upper design, which is a lot better, a lot better than the 15.1s. And then we have this new, the Tech Fit runs in the heel area. We have this interesting tongue design that we've seen on the Prime Knit 2.0. It was with that purple green pair that was released, I want to say a year ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. They had that huge flap at the back, which is nice. It's something different. Doesn't really change the feel at all for me. And it doesn't really get in the way. I mean, it's in the heel. And I could just take you as best as I can inside the Tech Fit collar. As you can see, it's just like a one piece, nice little tunnel looking design just to slip your foot in. And then we have the specs of the Soleplate. It's a very different Soleplate than what we've seen on the past X and Ace, and current Ace for that matter. It's we have these conical studs with little ridges in them. If I could see if I could focus on it. Alright, there you go. See, it's not a perfect conical stud. It has these little nudges on the front ones. And then we have the stabilizer in the middle. And then again, we have these circular ones with little nudges on the side. I'm guessing it has something to do with rotation, and acceleration. And then these, they go into more oval design with a little nudge. And then the heel studs are all interestingly shaped, as you can see there. And I think it just has, I mean, it's gonna feel like a regular conical stud design to me. No surprises really. I think it's more for just show. Let's see, focus. There we go. Yeah, just more for show. Doesn't really perform any different than a normal conical stud configuration. So I could say that these are going to be fairly good for turf. I haven't used them on turf. I actually used them on natural grass yesterday, which is probably how I haven't got any scuffs or anything crazy on them. And I was able to clean the dirt off fairly well. So let's move on to specs of the upper, I suppose. I already talked about the Tech Fit collar. I think I'll talk more about how it hugs the foot when I do the on feet later on in the video. But the upper is interesting. Now, like I said, the 15.1 synthetic was one of the worst shoes I've ever had in my life. The synthetic upper was plasticky. It was very cheap feeling. It was uncomfortable. This one, they completely redid it. It's very thick, actually, and I'm actually putting a decent amount of pressure onto the upper just to flex it down a little bit, just to show that it is fairly thick. It's nothing like an Adi Zero, where it was quite thin, in all honesty. It's quite tough. I'm sure after a few hours of using them, they'll break in quite nicely. But if I had to compare this upper to something, it would be to the Hybrid Touch synthetic that we saw on the first and second Predator LZs, even the Predator Instinct actually. So basically, this feels like, the upper at least feels like a Predator without the rubber elements. It is very thick, it's very tough, definitely very durable, which is good. Good sign for longevity, and should last you quite a while. As you can see, there must be a mix in material. There's a stitch here, and that's really all the only stitch that's on this shoe that I see. I don't know if there's a mix of material. It doesn't feel different, I can tell you that. It feels the same. Maybe it has something to do with lateral movements. A stitch would you know, keep your foot compressed, but I didn't notice anything. And the material along the whole shoe feels the same to me. And speaking of hugging the foot, this whole no tongue design really hugs your foot well, like a pair of Magista or Superfly. It feels really well compared to the 15.1, and I do prefer this design over the previous generation. As you can see here, I have a pair of the Radiant Reveal. There we go. Pair of Radiant Reveal. Similar design, no tongue. The sock completely is just fused into the tongue area. Same as here. The only difference is, as you can see on the Magista, the sock really just runs through this whole lacing system into the sock. And then here we have the synthetic upper up until, let's see if you can see it. Can you see that crest? That's where the Tech Fit ends, and a little synthetic overlay is put on. So it doesn't really run down the whole thing, which is interesting. Hugs the foot well, not noticeable when playing. Don't give in to any of the specs hype. So, in order to give you a perspective on the upper thickness, I thought I would compare it to something like the Magista Obra and the Superfly, as that is really the direct competitors of such a shoe like this. And so you can see, when I press down, I am putting quite a bit of pressure. Then again, these aren't fully broken in pair, but you get the idea of out of the box how these will feel. And they are quite thick. The Magista Obra, they do feel thinner. I mean, look at how much more flexible these are compared to the X. I'm really, really pushing down on it. Whereas these, you know, and then obviously the Superfly, barely anything, barely any pressure needed, and these things will just fold up. So that gives you an idea of how thick the upper is on these, and which is interesting because let's move these back out of the way again, bring this one in. Which is interesting because these are still quite lightweight. And I actually forgot to mention the Soleplate, which is a huge part. It's the sprint frame that we have known on the Addy Zeros, on the older Addy Zeros, I should say, which is a really, really nice. It locks the heel a lot better than the 15.1. I know a huge issue on the X 15.1 was the heel slippage, and with the sprint frame back and this new Tech Fit kind of collar, it really it corrects everything that the 15.1 did wrong in the heel, and it takes away that heel slippage, most definitely. And actually, you know, it's quite similar to the Magista Obra Soleplate, sort of sprint frame like material, and I'm a big fan of those as well. And that's what keeps these so lightweight, I suppose, I guess. because with such a thick upper, you would think that these would be quite heavy. But in terms of weight, I actually weighed them upstairs a little earlier, and they came out to 7.5 ounces. Um, it fluctuated between 7.4 and 7.5, which is lightweight. It's about the same weight as a Magista Obra. Not as light as a Superfly. I believe Superfly is around 7-ish, but obviously 0.5 ounces is almost nothing in hand and on feet, obviously, and when playing. So without further ado, I will do an on feet look around so you can see a whole 360 of what they look like on feet and end it there. So right now I'm wearing some Nike Grip cushion socks. That is what I will be using when I'm showing you the sizing. I know a lot of people like wearing thin socks, and that usually allows them to go half size down, but I'm wearing cushion socks. So there's that. As you can see, they're a lot easier than something like the Pure Control to put on. I'm literally just slipping my foot in quite easily. It's actually a lot easier than the Magista to put on for me, at least out of the box. Tie these up. They do feel quite nice on feet, I have to say. So much better than the 15.1. Tie them nice and tight. There we go. And getting on feet. Maybe zoom out a bit. Focus it a little bit better. And so, like I said, indoors they come off as a more red color than orange. But in the light, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm shining some light on it so you can see. They do come off as a little bit more orange, which is it's a decent colorway. It's not something I would rock personally. I'm more into darker colors. But as you can see, it really does hug the foot really nicely. Everything is locked down into place. The heel, no slipping. I know when I used to go like this with the 15.X ones, I could feel the shoe stay down, and that would cause that would be the terrible heel slippage that a lot of people have felt in the 15.1s. The chrome really stands out off the red upper. You can see the little flab here, not noticeable at all, and nothing in terms of performance enhancement on that on the heel either. Soleplate is nice. Sprint frame, always was a fan of the sprint frame. And overall, they're really quite comfortable. Now I have to mention that in the 15.1 synthetic, I did have an 8.5, and I felt they were much too tight for me to wear. And that's really what I wear in most Adidas cleats. But I am wearing a 9 right now. This is a sample size pair and a size 9. As you can see, I am flexing my toes, and it's very hard to do so. So out of the box, these are quite stiff. I'm not gonna lie there. I'm really putting as much pressure as I can to flex the forefoot, and yeah, it's quite difficult. Definitely after some wear time, they should break in nicely. I can see this sort of what I call hybrid touch synthetic 2 to get really nice and soft. But here's one more look around. I love the sprint frame coming back. Feels really light on feet, and it's overall a great improvement over over the 15.1 synthetic. Like I said before, I do prefer the 15+ synthetic. Prime knit. As I just felt the upper was a lot softer and more flexible. But in terms of fit, both are really, really nice. And that's it for the video. I'm pretty sure I forgot a ton of stuff to say. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. And I will get back to you as best as I can with a reply. And there you go. Till the next one. See ya.